I'd like to understand a little bit more what you're doing with respect to liquid core in the core network, liquid nets in the core network. Thank you.
A bunch of stuff, because we think it's beyond radio, it's the core, and to make network self-aware, you need the evolved packet core, and of course transport as well. So a bunch of things there, but what we talked about really is this intelligent broadband management, where you can actually manage it end-to-end, from the core to the evolved packet core or packet core in HSPA, to be able to differentiate the stream so that can go on the priority. Just take a lower resolution stream, take it on the iPhone, so at least people can hook on, and then iPad, which desires a higher resolution stream, can also have it. So it's about priority queuing. I think there's so much of priority quality of service management that our operators will need, and it's all end-to-end between packet core and the device and the application, and in fact the radio access network. And even the radio access network is becoming far more self-aware, all the way up to customer experience management. So I hope I've addressed part of it. If not, Marc's the man again.
In the mobile broadband today, we already have 1.2 billion mobile broadband subscriptions, right? We expect to see this year an increase of the mobile broadband traffic by 60%. Data traffic. That's a big number, right? So that requires a lot of technology, and 60% will be the increase that we'll see next year when we talk again together. That's a very interesting market for NSN. So let's see some of the challenges that operators are facing. The first one is HSPA capacity. And one of you was asking, when I think RAN, for NSN, what's the difference? Well, when you think RAN, 3G, the difference is capacity. So I say it again. When we talk 3G or HSPA, the difference with NSN is capacity. And there are a lot of ways of doing capacity, I will come back to that. Some of the things that we are showing here is about the smart labs, right? So the way for us to understand capacity, it's not in the back office. We go out in our smart labs and then we test applications. We measure devices and we measure how they interact with the networks, right? That gives us advices on how to develop new features. All those applications that you see on those tablets, we test them. The second thing that we do on capacity is this active liquid net approach, mainly with the active antennas, which is a way to take the capacity all to the edge of the network, right? All the way to the antenna. We launched the active antenna last year, and we'll talk about again today what has happened since then, since a year. And then impact to end users. Talk about capacity. What is capacity for each of you? Capacity is the traffic you can have when you are at cell edge. What is cell edge? Inside a building, in your office, at home. That's what matters. And again, we're going to show the impact of new technologies like the multi-flow, which is the first for NSN. The multi-flow is the way to have in 3G different sites coordinate in order to give you more capacity. So smart labs, we capture active technology and liquid nets, and then new advanced technologies like multi-flow. Beyond HSP and 3G, the next challenge is LTE. We see tremendous growth in LTE, and Rajeev showed the numbers that we see in Japan and Korea. So let me just share a few of them with you. Docomo now has reached 1.1 million subscribers, and added close to 500,000 subscribers in December. So this is starting now. At the same time, SK Telecom went from 0 to 500,000 subscribers last year in 4 months. And in Korea, again, LGU+, they switched their network on in July last year. They launched a high-definition device, and with this, they accumulated 550,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And better than that, they added 250,000 new subscribers in January only. 250,000 new subscribers for LGU+ in Korea in January only. So it's obvious that in Japan and Korea, LTE now is accelerating, and we expect to see the same pretty soon in the rest of the world. And beyond LTE, beyond HSPA, GSM. Now, Same question, what is the difference between NSN and the others when we talk GSM? Spectrum efficiency. Right, this time we talked about spectrum efficiency, so I'll come back on that. This is all about optimizing the GSM resources. Why? Because you want to make room for high traffic, for data. Right? So NSN differentiator is in spectrum efficiency. Now, how does it relate to LiquidNet? So LiquidNet is what you're seeing above there. So there are three parts. The way we think of LiquidNet are in three parts. The first part, efficiency and flexibility. It's all about the hardware and the software, the capacity, the spectrum efficiency, the best radio, the best core, right? So this is the heart of the network, mobile broadband. Efficiency and flexibility. The second thing is what Rajeev was talking about. Once you have the best network, Liquid, then you need to have real-time insights. Comparing the KPIs that you see in the networks with the consumer perceived KPIs, right? Do you have the feeling that the latency, the speed of the network is the one you want? And then you compare that to the KPIs you see in the network. And the last part is to make it work. The complexity is growing, and NSN in its LiquidNet approach has to bring the optimization services, self-optimizing cloud services in order to make it work. So we'll be talking about this in the next presentation. But think about it as three parts. Now, what's new? We launched LiquidNet last year, right? You remember that? And since then, we've got very positive feedback from customers. Our customer engagement survey tells us that indeed, NSN has the assets that they want to see to get into the battle of mobile broadband. And the feedback we got is that the foundation of the LiquidNet technology is the foundation they're looking for mobile broadband. So good fit between what we offered last year and what our customers were looking for. Now, let me show what is new this year, what you're going to see this year on top of the LiquidNet we launched. So LiquidNet, if you remember, has three parts. The Liquid Radio, right? Liquid Core, that's where we concentrate our R&D. Massive R&D, you heard Rajeev say, we tend to increase our investment there. And the third part, which is the integration of our partners' R&D and technology. So on the radio, beyond what we launched last year, baseband, pooling, active antennas, we're expanding into an active antenna system solution. Active means that we now have the capability to dynamically shape the beams in order to address the capacity and shift the capacity where the traffic is required. Another first that we are announcing here is the FlexiZone. Right? You may have heard about the FlexiZone. There's going to be a lot of discussions around small cells here in Barcelona this year. A big part of the market sees small cells as smaller cells, right? That's not the way we see it. Because if you do that, I mean, there was a question about what is the traffic between Wi-Fi and the RAN. We think there'll be some 50 million macro base stations by 2020 and 500 million hotspots. Wi-Fi, maybe with some advanced 3G or 4G technology embedded. So a big part of access points and small cells. If you just bring the same mechanisms and macro, the complexity goes through the roof. So what is the FlexiZone? FlexiZone is a very innovative small cell technology that allows different access points, 10, 20, 30, 100 of them, to behave like one cell, like one base station. So you don't bring the complexity. You know, this is kind of the way of doing it in the past, you know, bring all the complexity back to the core network. That's the way we used to do it in the control systems. None of that. We keep it at in the FlexiZone. So our Flexi baseband computing power allows us to control the FlexiZone between all those access points, being 3G, LTE, Wi-Fi, and to remove the complexity and the heavy signaling and messaging of the network. Now, on top of that, it's very easy to add FlexiZone equipment, access points. very easy because they can do self-optimizing, self-configuration, but more than that, they can do self-backhauling. Or they can backhaul between themselves. So you just have to plug them, electrical into an electrical power supply, and here it goes. Right? So think of it, few tens of access points seen as one base station, hoping inside the zone between themselves. So this is for the radio. For the core, oops, I'm back. For the core, we launched the virtualization last year. Now we're going one step further. So virtualization was the way to have the same hardware and moving into the cloud, right? Remember that? Now we're moving into the next level of virtualization by bringing self-optimizing networks into the core, which is a market first. Nobody has done that. Right? What we want to have is a core network that can manage its capacity and allocate its capacity and its routes based on the traffic and on demand. That's what it does. And then the liquid transport. So the liquid transport, as I explained, we are benefiting from the technology from our partners, and one of our partners is going to present with me today at the end of my presentation. And we're taking the best of breed equipment, and we are adding on top intelligent control that allows us to manage the traffic and adapt it to the demand of the liquid radio and the liquid core. So let me move to the capacity. Remember, the way we differentiate is in 3G is around capacity. Bringing capacity to where it's needed. So you have heard about our active antenna being forming. You have heard that this is being used with one customer. This is being trialed around a number of customers in the world. And Rajeev shared with you the numbers that we've seen in the market now, in the field, 65% more capacity and 30% more coverage.